Hello, welcome back to another video. My name is Farhan, also known as Gunner since 96, and you're watching my Mikel Arteta press conference reaction, where I'll be reacting to the press conference that he gave looking ahead to the West Brom game. Everything is still quite raw at the minute. The defeat against Villarreal is still sinking in. And I think as a fan base, we are still reeling from the fact that we're not going to be playing in a European Cup final. The fact that we've been beaten by our previous head coach, who's got some revenge out of it. The fact that Arteta looks likely to remain in his job, or whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, you know, I think it's too early to say. And takeover talks, we had a little bit, a little whisper after the game, but it's sort of gone quiet again. There is a protest on tomorrow, though, before the game, which is going to be interesting to see what the turnout's going to be like. But yeah, ultimately, judging by the press conference, judging by the things that he had to say, and just his whole demeanour, this was probably the first time that I've seen some vulnerability in Arteta in a press conference. He's usually quite relaxed, and I mean, he was relaxed, but he's usually quite composed. He usually says all the right things, and I guess that's why maybe to say a large portion is not really being honest, but fans do still, I guess, have some level of respect for the man, for the way that he's conducted himself, and for the things that he's said, for the way that he's expressed his plans. They've been very clear, and I think communication has been one of the big factors that has helped him to come this far. But in this press conference, he seemed very unsure of himself. It seemed like he was still suffering from that defeat and is still yet to come to terms with it all. And I don't know, how... I don't know the consequences of feeling like that, whether it will be good for us. It will kick us up the backside and allow us to see out the season strong and go into next season as well with that defeat. I thought the Europa League final, the defeat to Chelsea, was going to be like a turning point for us. We were almost going to galvanise ourselves and never allow that to happen again. But doesn't seem to be the case. So I question how much motivation we get out of this defeat. But if a manager is struggling to come to terms with what's happened and doesn't look, refocused on the job at hand to see the season out strong, what does that mean about the players? Because that's ultimately the task of a manager, to make sure that everyone is fully focused on the next game, and to make sure that whatever's happened in the past, we keep it in the past and we take the positives from that game, the very little positives that we had to take from that game. But look, there is a game ahead tomorrow, a game that might seem like there's nothing to play for, but having said that, we do have still the potential chance of finishing in a European spot in the Europa League. If we finish 7th, then that secures Europa League football, and it seems like there is a possible chance of that happening, especially with Tottenham dropping points today, Leicester dropping points yesterday. That doesn't do us any benefits, but certainly with Tottenham dropping points, it shows that we can finish above them if they continue to drop more points. But I guess the message is to just finish the season strong, and then we deal with whatever we need to once the season has concluded. So let's get into what he had to say. I've picked up 2 quotes. I know it's usually 3, but I mainly want to focus on 2 quotes because the second one is quite important. Some of the things that he says quite lengthy as well. But the first one being, how long can you allow yourself to feel the pain? How quickly do you have to forget it? He says that we have no time to think too deeply about that pain because we have a game on Sunday. We have a training session this morning and it has to be by today. When you leave the training ground, most of it has to be out of the system. I think you have to leave some of it in some of your system and use some of it in the right way as an energy driver in the game on Sunday. Bang on, I totally agree with that. I think, but look, like I said, I question really how much Arsenal can take motivation from that game. It was such an utterly shameful display of football, especially in the first half, in the second leg, and just the overall game in the first leg. I can't take any hope from those performances going forward. That we will move forward, that we have the propensity to, lift ourselves up, galvanize ourselves into transforming our football and the results in the next season, because you would hope that this game would be, almost a turning point of what could be a flourishing Arsenal up until from now up until the end of next season, and even further. But I thought, when we lost to Chelsea in the Europa League finals, that was going to be the point. That was going to be us at the crossrails, where we wouldn't allow ourselves to get into a situation like that again, to be humiliated like that again. But I was clearly wrong, and this game, I mean, this job is so big right now. It's almost a case of more than the football side of things. There is a deep-rooted mentality problem at this club that doesn't seem to be anywhere else. I can't see a club in this much disarray where, we're struggling to beat Burnley in a season and, mid-table. I mean, 10th in the league at this point in time. Really, really bemusing. Like, I can't for the life of me understand why it is. But, those moments, losing semi-finals, the way that they did, especially, probably being favourites to maybe win the competition, has to drive you on, has to rattle your cage so that you come out and you've got a point to prove, not just for yourself, but for the club that you represent and the fans that have been so disappointed, and everyone associated with the club will know how disappointing this is for fans, especially the fans, with everything that we've been going through this season, this year, with COVID, with not being able to go to matches, with disappointing results, with the Super League stuff. They must care. They must, and that's what I find trouble with, sort of coming to terms with the Europa League semi-final performances, the way that we lost it, the lack of desire, the lack of ambition in those games. I can't honestly say that I feel like these players are playing for the fans or have some form of humility or pride. Those are the things that allow underdogs to beat, teams that are bigger than them. Leeds, for instance, beating so many teams this season already. But they play with a sense of purpose, like they've got something to prove to themselves, and they know that this is more than just football. This is more than just collecting a paycheck. And I question a lot of players at the club right now, their motives for turning up to training, for playing games, and the overall mentality of what these boys actually want to achieve, if they want to achieve anything. So, will they get over this pain? Yes, most probably they will. But in what way? Are they going to use this as a motivating sort of factor loss? Or is it going to be a case of, well, we lost the game, it's fine, there's another game next weekend, we can pick ourselves up, a few highlight reels, something for the fans to cheer about. And the second question, asks, when you woke up this morning, did you ever question whether you're the right man to lead Arsenal out of this predicament? Very good question. And he says, what I felt last night was a deep pain because the moment the club is not at the moment, with everything it has been through over the last few months, I had a feeling that it could take if we could take the team to the final, it could be a great turning point. I felt that responsibility and I was so eager to achieve that because I knew it could be a defining moment. Not being able to achieve it has been really tough personally, obviously. I know that we have disappointed a lot of people as well, and that really hurts because we want to give the best to everybody. But the one thing I made clear is that to do what we want to do, I have no doubt that we are going to achieve it. If not, I wouldn't be sat here. There's a couple of things that I got from that quote. Number one, he seems like the type of man who wants Arsenal to succeed. He's saying all the right things. And language is really quite important in this industry to find out what someone's motive is, how motivated they are for the job, and whether it's PR BS or whether there's truth to what they're saying. And I do really believe Arteta when he says that, the pain that he felt, you could see it in his expression, the way that he was saying it. You could sense the words that he was saying, but you could also feel the motivation behind what he was saying at the end there. He's got no doubt that we're going to achieve it. If not, then he wouldn't be sat there. I take a lot of confidence from that. But I question his ability to do it, his ability to execute what he's saying. I think we can all sit here and accept that this is a job for someone with a lot more experience and a lot more ability as a coach. I say that with deep regret because I know how bright of a coach Arteta is. I know how much potential he's got. And it's just so unfortunate that he had to start his career here this season rather than waiting a few seasons, getting up his managerial pedigree a little bit and then jumping into the hot seat. But I think it's clear to see that right now we do need a world beater. We do need someone who has top trumps, all the points going for them. A heavyweight in the business. But I still question whether a heavyweight can come into this club and sort this out, because like I said, it's more to do with a mentality than buying the right players, making sure you have enough depth, making sure the right people above are making the right decisions. It is a problem that has been developing and growing for years. Ever since we moved to the Emirates, when we lost that Champions League final, that was the beginning of the decline of our mental state. That was when, we hit that pinnacle, and I guess with everything coming in the future, knowing that we were going to go into a brand new spanking stadium, being delivered these promises that we were going to compete at the very top, I guess the hard work had stopped, and we were acceptant of the fact that we are a big, massive club and it will come in good time. But nobody really wanted to do anything about it. Nobody wanted to continue the graft. Nobody wanted to earn it. And that problem it continues today. Playing in the semi-final against Villarreal, probably expecting to win that, not really playing the game at full capacity. Cost us dearly. And so it's difficult for me to really understand myself as to how I feel about the direction the club's going into. There seems to be very little positive that I can take from the words that Arteta says, because it's almost a little bit contradictory, It's quite harsh to say it, but it is what it is. He says the right things at the right times. He's brilliant at press conferences. You know, some things he says maybe contradict him, but we know why he's saying it. His passion for the club can't be questioned. He loves Arsenal. He wants the best for Arsenal. But ultimately, he's not good enough. And that is, I guess, a tough pill to swallow. But there we are. You know, that's where we find ourselves today. Tomorrow's result, whatever it is, won't change the fact that we've had a terrible season. We have underperformed and we have deep-rooted problems that continue to spread and spread deeper into our fan base, which is, you know, worrying. No fan should be this invested in problems in the club. You know, it shouldn't be our responsibility to know the ins and outs of what's happening, why it is that we've got an owner who isn't invested, all these kind of things. But, you know, it is what it is. And we will have to finish this season strong, as strongly as possible, take maximum points, and a massive inquiry needs to be had at the end of the season with a big window coming up as well. So yeah, plenty to look forward to. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and hit that bell notification to be notified every time I release a video. I'll be back again tomorrow for a match day preview, where I'll be really looking ahead to the footballing side of things against West Brom. But until then, stay home, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.